Okay, so we are looking at number 16. I'll just erase this. We don't it's just distracting. So we are looking at some data. The table below, so there's a table towards the bottom of this page we're going to see in just a second, gives information on the number of radio stations for the 4 most popular formats. Sketch an appropriate graph of the distribution and comment on its important features. I'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. One type of graph appropriate is a bar chart. Which of the following bar charts shows it? So we've got 4 choices here. So I'm going to recommend, like anything with multiple choice, try and find the answer yourself, then match it. D's off the page, but if it's not one of these, we know it must be D. But look at the way a bar chart's formatted. You have your 4 bars or your 4 categorical values on the bottom. Now this one is numbered, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, but these numbers have no meaning. They just numbered them to differentiate the different formats. Because they're numbered that way, we can put them in order. It doesn't matter. But it just, I mean, it's just the way they numbered them. And then that's on the horizontal axis. On a vertical axis, whoops, we have the number of stations, and you want it to be consistent, like spacing. So they have some nice lines there. So we're going to follow that format as we come down here. I kind of started it. I was making this and I accidentally hit something crazy. So I just restarted the video. I'm going to try and make these kind of nice, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, goodness. So I'm going to, oh no, I'm still on the eraser. Well, that's okay. That'll give me a chance to show you what I did. I'm going to turn my nice little ruler to 0. I made some bends along here. They really should be the same width. So since I'm doing this over, why not? So 1 will be in the center of this, and I'll actually erase all of these. So let's go ahead and do it. So this will be, oh goodness, we're starting all the way over. That's fine. So this is going to be, say, my 0. So this one will be 1. This one will be, I'm going to erase that in a second. 2. Oh goodness, 2. This one will be 3, and this one will be 4. Okay, and it doesn't have to be, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of it. And then coming up here, because back in my day, as an old person, we used to have to do this by hand. Those of you that were here earlier got to hear my lovely stories about making them. We did like an M&M thing once in a class. I took this class and we used to have to do all this stuff by hand. We did not have my mapping. So we're going to have our nice little values. I have, let me mark it. I've got 1. These aren't perfect. We get 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all going to go by 500. It's kind of like what they had above. That's 500. That's going to be my 1,000. I've got my 1,500, 2,000, and my 2,500. So for the first one, it's going to be 21. It doesn't have to be perfect, but since I got the ruler, why not? So let's put it here. It'll, oh boy, my picture's moving. All right, I'm over it. So we're going to just do our best. So that's about 21, right? Boom. I'm a little wiggly. If I had my ruler, I wouldn't be, but you got the idea. So that's my format 1. Boom. Format 2, and I'll move these numbers down. That's where they're supposed to be. I was just using that to help me differentiate 3 and 4. So 2 is about 13. So I'm going to say it's a little more than halfway between those 2. Again, I'm approximating eyeballing. Format 3 is 888. It's going to be closer to 900. Whereas format 4 is almost the same, but just a little bit less. Okay. So that's going to be my bar chart. Da, 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 da. So it's going down. It looks more like a Pareto chart, actually. So we've got none of these match if you look at it. And so D is going to be the right one. If you go to the answer key, you'll see that and scroll down. I'm not going to do it for you, but it's going to look just like this. Okay. The next part, which of the following would be appropriate graphs for showing the given distribution? Select all that apply. So what type of distribution are we looking at? These are categorical values because we have categories. We have different formats, like maybe radio. Like I have friends who actually have a radio station online. So I think it would be like an online radio. And maybe you have like satellite radio. There's the traditional FM, AM. So maybe that's the 4 that we came up with. I don't know. I just made this up. But there's 4 of them. It's categorical data. Well, that we numbered them, it doesn't have meaning. So 2 things that we haven't talked about that are on here. The rest we have talked about in other questions. A pie chart is something we use for categorical. It's going to have, it's not often used because they're kind of hard to see and read, but we do use a pie chart for categorical. So that might be one we're going to talk about in just a second. And then what else do we think? A dot plot we've talked about. So dot plots are something we use for numerical, right? A Pareto chart, we just said the one we have looks like a Pareto chart, right? A stem plot was numerical. You know, get little dots. You have to have a numerical data because you're going to put them in order, or well, you're not going to put them in order. Actually, we haven't talked about stem plot. I apologize. So stem plots where you put the numbers here, and like if this were 15, you would do like 5, all of the number, the ways it appears. You can also do it, yeah. So it's just it's a graphical representation, not unlike a dot plot, but you actually get to see the values in a different way. And a histogram we said was also numerical. So since our data is categorical, what did we say about all of these? Real quick, pie chart, categorical. Dot plot was numerical. Pareto chart it's a bar chart, but in order. So it's still categorical. Stem plot was numerical. Histogram was also numerical. So the ones that would still be relevant would be a pie chart and a Pareto chart. And again, pie chart, people don't use it as often, but it is a possibility. Okay. So which of the following is the best description of the distribution's most important features? So what is the most important feature that we have? We have the fact that format 1 is the most unpopular. So that's going to be like our central measure. That's our center is mode for this. So that would be format 1 is the most popular. That's our center. It's our peak. So we would pick that for C. And this was question 16 from the practice test. And its question identifier would be 2.3-4.46. So if you wanted to look for it in the homework or quiz.